have been traveling full-time for over a year now, and today we're going to share with you the best way we have found to earn an income while on the road.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Jenny.
And we are Outside is Calling. Ba-boom! Intro video. Hey guys, for those of you that are new to our channel, this is where we share everything about the full-time traveling lifestyle that we learn as we go. We grew up here in Florida, but we spent about 5 years in the Pacific Northwest as we found ourselves chasing the almighty dollar. And there's nothing wrong with pursuing better jobs and making more money. The more time we spent chasing that money, the less time we spent doing fulfilling things and having fun as a family, as a couple. Even before we had Tucker. I don't know which camera to look at. If I should look at one the whole time?
I'm just looking at
the problem was we were working the best years of our lives, hoping, fingers crossed, that we'd end up down the road with the health and money years later to enjoy the fruits of our labor.
And just this past year, we have adventured all the way down through Baja, up to the Canadian border, and all across the United States from one coast to the other.
Not once did we miss punching the clock, attending mandatory employee training, or doing any work that we weren't passionate about.
We've met some pretty incredible people along the way, and suffice to say, we are not ready to quit traveling.
We're just getting started. We want to continue traveling around this awesome world while we see and do as much as we can while we can.
To fund our travels, we sold almost everything we owned, including the home we were living in.
As you may already know, we've been downsizing in our preparations to become full-time RVers. And man, it can't come soon enough. There's just so much work involved. What you up to, Mommy?
Waxing our boat.
Why are you waxing her?
Because we have a guy coming to probably buy her.
It's a really sad day today. I kind of hope the guy does not buy our boat.
Initially, we started a travel fund with that chunk of money, and the rest went into savings.
The problem is that travel fund has been shrinking. We've been traveling for over a year now, and we promised ourselves when we began this adventure, this journey, that whenever that fund reached zero, the travel fund, we would not tap into our savings account. That savings account, we're saving that. That's our little baby for whenever we find our next place to call base camp, our next place to call home. We knew that if we tapped into that savings fund, that we'd not only end up homeless, but broke eventually. Whenever that travel fund reaches zero, we have to get jobs, regular jobs. Back to the real world.
So as that travel fund began to dwindle, we started to scramble and think of ways that we could continue traveling without getting a 9-to-5 job and without touching our savings. So if you're like us and you have a job or a skill set that won't transfer over into remote or online work, but you want to travel full-time, keep listening, because we have found what we think is the absolute best way to have a steady income while still traveling full-time.
Of all the ideas we had for generating money as we were traveling, rental income was the renter. All right, here we go.
Just read that, just say that.
We chose rental income. Why? Other ideas. Yeah, we're doing it. We chose rental income over other ideas because rental income offers the best advantages for us.
RVs depreciate very quickly, so we really wanted to minimize how much of our funds were tied up into a depreciating asset.
Money in a bank loses its value as inflation causes goods to cost more and more each year.
And percentage rates don't usually make up for inflation.
Yeah, of late, most savings checking accounts give you 1% or so back, and inflation's typically 4% or more. So you're still losing 3% or more of your purchasing power each year.
Ouch.
Well, I thought I got a pretty good education, and now I can't even keep up with inflation. Good time just headed out the door. And it's work, work, work your slave, work till you are done. Don't cry, must be brave, got no time for fun. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, up go the prices, 4, 3, 2, 1, down go the wages. I ain't gonna take it anymore. Go on, girl.
Stocks and similar products are an excellent option for long term. Unfortunately, with us traveling, we're looking for the next place to call home. And so we want to be able to access our money, if need be, quickly so that we can buy that perfect home in a place that we've fallen in love with.
Yeah, many of us have seen these stocks and the volatility in the last 10 years. And you can only imagine if we were to tie our money up into stocks and let's say the market goes down, well, then we'd be hard pressed if we take the money out and take a haircut and lose money.
Yeah,
Or,
and oftentimes they'll charge a fee if you withdraw your money before a certain time frame.
yeah, and so there's all kinds of problems with that, with wanting access to your money when you want it. Otherwise, it would be a great option for us because stocks and funds, mutual funds, IRAs, there's all a plethora of different options. They're all great because you just put it there and it does its thing. But we're not sure if and when we're going to need access to that money.
Yep.
Can I just get 2 more weeks?
I want my money.
You need to relax.
You're an asshole.
Uh-uh.
I want my money, bitch.
Hey, don't call me bitch. I'm a grown man.
Bitch, 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 bitch.
God, you're mean.
We thought of several business opportunities like, RV or boat storage or even regular storage units. These are all great ideas for creating income, but most of the businesses we thought of would require us or an employee to be available, and that would just add further complications. So these weren't necessarily bad ideas, but they were more complicated, more moving parts, and more things could go wrong while we're traveling.
What can I do to help you?
Just check them out, please.
I'm Jack, and I'm here to help you.
I'm so glad about that, Jack.
Are you looking for anything specific? Okay.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Since we've been traveling for a little over a year now, we've had plenty of time to brainstorm and come up with these ideas on ways to make an income while on the road. And we certainly aren't the only full-time RVers specifically, but even just full-time travelers who are turning to rental properties as a way to do that.
In the past couple months, other YouTubers have announced rental properties. And it's funny because we had bought our house and we were watching some YouTube videos and hey, they have one too. Some examples are Keep Your Daydream, Less Junk, More Journey, and Live and Give 4x4. In fact, Nathan and Marissa Moss with Less Junk, More Journey, we got to work with them and get to know them on RV Nomads, the movie, during production. And they've been doing this for even longer than us. In fact, knowing that they are also doing this kind of helped give us encouragement that we weren't making necessarily a huge bad decision.
So we knew that buying a home to use as a rental property needed to be done very smartly. Buying a house, you can very, very easily run into ways to quickly lose your money instead of earn money. An unwise investment could easily cost money rather than generate an income. So these are the things that we looked for when buying our house.
It needed to be in a desirable location. We're here in Florida, and close proximity to the beach is a real big plus for properties. In fact, our little beach house is 5 minutes away from the beach, so we felt comfortable knowing that that would help draw people into this area.
We were looking for what's considered to be the industry standard, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that would draw in families.
And it goes without saying, we needed to get a good deal on a house for it to be, a really sound and solid investment. And with that, we actually found a good deal. However, it was not a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It was a good enough price, so we felt comfortable getting away from that industry standard that would open up the option to rent to families, and instead go with this. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
1.5 bath.
Okay. A 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath. Because it was well below market value, we felt this was an acceptable trade-off.
Another thing to look for if you're buying a home to use as a rental property is ideally you want to be able to rent the home for 1% of what you bought it for. So if you bought a home for $100,000, you could then rent it for $1,000 a month.
Yeah, and every little bit you get away from that 1% increment, it's not a deal breaker, but it means it's less of a good rental property. For example, if you have a $500,000 beautiful home, but it rents for, $1,500, it would be hard to recoup any interest or any mortgage you have if you don't, if you have to finance it. Also, any repairs the home needed had to be repairs that we felt we could do ourselves. The reason for that is We've learned in the past that the minute you have to start contracting out things you need done, it's a really great way to lose the equity you thought you had.
And lastly, but I think most importantly, you have to trust your gut. Oftentimes, your gut instinct will lead you in the right direction.
If you use your gut instinct along with that 1% margin, you're probably on a good path to selecting good rental properties. There's a lot to it, but there's some basic things that really help you cut out what is a good rental property and what's not.
Owning a home that we rent seems to be the best option for us for passive income.
We don't have, like I said, skill sets that carry over to remote work.
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily be teaching English to Chinese children at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And we still want to have the freedom to travel anywhere we want to go.
So renting our home allows us that total freedom. And there's plenty that can go wrong. I mean, renters can trash the house or blow it up and anything in between.
But overall, with rental property, we'll likely see the best return on investment and receive a monthly income as we travel, helping to fund future travels.
We bought this home because it needed some work, but it was all work that we knew we were comfortable with doing. Putting in new floors, plumbing, electrical, and even the roof.
The roof was a big one. I've never done a roof before, but we did some homework and kind of checked things out, got some estimates, and I was able to do the roof myself. And so by doing the roof myself, that alone saved us over $12,000.
Everyone's situation is different, but having a rental property seems to be the best option for us. So, what next?
Here in a matter of weeks, we'll be making our official announcement for an international surf trip for 3 months, all as a result of building passive income to help fund our travel addiction.
Some big YouTube friends of ours were actually visiting us recently, and Jesse was able to sit them down and pick their brains since they too have a rental property that they use to travel to fund their travels.
I'll have that video coming out soon in the next few days, so be sure to stay tuned, and if you haven't already, subscribe and click the notification and you won't miss that video coming up here soon.
They've been traveling around the world in their RVs, so it's definitely going to be a pretty good episode. Don't miss it. See you next time.
See you guys.
I'm ready. 1, 2, 3. I got it.
I hold.
All right. Ready.
1, 2.